I don't expect these trends to large extent to materialize in Europe right now, because as we have a housing shortage problem in many of the urban centers, the question will be how to build this mid-level rental housing and not the higher end. At the higher end, there might be the possibilities to differentiate some kind of the luxury developments from each other, to see these kind of things happening. But that is a very small niche, I would say, that possibly can operate in London, that can operate in Paris, maybe in some other, also some of the big German cities like Munich or Hamburg. But I don't expect this as a general trend to be seen in the European market, as it's more about the need for housing and about the shortage of housing, and not so much about how to differentiate to compete for tenants on that side.
Okay, good. Yeah, you wanted to pick that up, I think.
Sorry. Yep, sure. Yeah. In addition to this, we also focus on different target groups. For instance, the needs and requirements of the aging population in the city is quite different. So they look for something which you could describe as co-housing. So we buy derelict nursing homes, tear them down, and redevelop new builds with all the facilities on board. So you might start at the top, at the penthouse. You don't need much care, but if you go down, there's a healthcare facilities on board, and if you really get, needy, there is a nursery home also on board. So that's an example of focusing on several target groups. Same applies to student housing. Yes, we like to take out the letting agent. Yes, we have an online portal. Yes, but we also recognize what they really need. They don't need much space, actually, which is great, actually. But they need the high-speed internet on board. That's what they need. And they like the community and the creativeness. And they don't have dogs, by the way. They don't have dogs. And if they do, they take them to the park.
Currently, as you said, I mean, we are not in the situation that we really have to think about that, because in general, demand is higher than the supply, so that makes us a little bit lazy and just we move in our comfort zone. But having said so, I mean, you see in the student housing sector, for instance, I'm sure we will see a hard fight for tenants in 5 years' time. Totally sure about that. No one is thinking a lot currently about that, but this will come to the market, and then it depends on, I mean, what do I get for my money? Do I get a little bit more? Do I get something I want to have? And this is also, in my opinion, it's an interesting segment in the residential sector as well. And when you talk about this, I call it this golden age concept. I mean, Germany is totally blind on that. We do not see a lot on that. It's time for a developer to step into that. I've seen a lot of that in Latin America. I've seen a lot of that in the US. And by the way, you have much higher yields on that in the US as we have currently here in Europe. This is a problem in general. I mean, if you see, for instance, student accommodation in the UK, or in London, they pay the rent we offer them for a month. They pay weekly. So the return, is quite attractive on that. So that's another interesting aspect. But I guess that's something we must have a look into other countries and can learn a lot. I mean, when the competition is there, then the best at the end of the day will make the most of the money, and this will definitely come.